Classic motorcycles are selling at record prices. Bonhams just moved a 1952 Vincent Black Lightning for $929,000. And Bring a Trailer can't keep running CB750s under 10 grand anymore. Everyone wants one. Instagram makes them look perfect. Forums call them investments. Your uncle says they're bulletproof. Yeah, they're lying. Not maliciously, just selectively. Because nobody posts the oil puddles, the dead batteries, or the fourth Saturday spent chasing an electrical gremlin through 50-year-old British wiring. I've owned 6 classics. Loved 4, hated 2. Learn from all of them. Section 6 will save you thousands. Section 9 might change your mind entirely. Hit subscribe. Let's talk about what they don't show you. Number 1. The Instagram lie. Polished tanks, perfect lighting, coffee shop angles. What you don't see, oil spots, weak charging systems, and the fact that it took 3 kicks and a prayer to start. Classic motorcycle Instagram versus reality. The gap between photo and the truth that costs new owners thousands before they figure it out. Polished tank, perfect lighting, leather jacket draped just right over the seat. Cappuccino in the foreground. Hashtag lifestyle. Hashtag vintage. Hashtag built, not bought. What the photo doesn't show, the oil spot under the kickstand. The battery tender hardwired because the charging system gave up in 1987. The fact that it took 6 kicks, choke adjustment, and a small prayer to get it running for that one shot. Instagram curates perfection. Classics deliver character. There's a difference. You're seeing the best 3 seconds of someone's day. You're not seeing the 20 minutes before where they flooded the carb, drained the battery, and questioned every life decision that led to this moment in a gas station parking lot. Here's the kicker. Buying a classic motorcycle based on Instagram aesthetics is like choosing a partner based on their dating profile. Technically accurate, functionally incomplete, and you'll learn about things they didn't volunteer up front. The bikes are beautiful, they photograph like dreams, but beauty and reliability divorced sometime around 1974 and never reconciled. Classic motorcycle ownership reality starts the second you stop taking pictures and actually try to ride the thing daily. That's when the relationship begins. Stay until Section 6, it'll explain why fully restored and reliable are 2 completely different promises, and why confusing them is expensive. Number 2, they don't ride like modern bikes. Longer braking distances, softer frames, narrow tires. No ABS, no traction control, no electronic babysitter. It's raw, and it demands respect. Classic motorcycle handling versus modern bikes. The performance gap that shocks experienced riders who assume decades of road skills will translate directly. You've been riding for years. You know how to brake. You understand cornering. You respect the throttle. None of that prepares you for the first time you grab a fistful of front brake on a 1970s Standard and realize the bike is slowing down the way a cruise ship changes direction. Eventually, theoretically, but not with any urgency. Longer stopping distances, softer frames that flex under hard cornering, tires half the width of what you're used to, no ABS, no traction control, no electronic babysitter monitoring 30 sensors and correcting your mistakes before they become physics problems. Classic motorcycles don't forgive the way modern bikes do. That's not romance. That's engineering from an era when safety feature meant you wore a helmet if you felt like it. The raw feeling everyone talks about, it's real. It's also unforgiving. Modern bikes let you get away with things. Classics make you pay tuition. Here's the truth. Riding classic motorcycles safely requires unlearning modern bike confidence and relearning respect for machines that were fast in their era but outdated by current standards. They demand attention, smooth inputs, earlier braking, conservative lean angles on unknown pavement. It's not a worse riding experience, it's a different contract. Section 7 explains why that raw feeling extends to parts of the bike you didn't expect and why Loctite becomes mandatory. Number 3, carburetors are a relationship. Temperature changes, altitude, bad fuel, congrats, you're tuning again. If you don't know what a pilot jet does, you're about to learn. Classic motorcycle carburetor tuning, the mechanical reality that turns weekend riders into shade tree mechanics, whether they signed up for it or not. Fuel injection spoiled you. Turn the key, press the button, go. Carburetors don't work like that. They're analog, mechanical, atmospheric. They care about temperature, altitude, humidity, and whether Mercury's in retrograde. You wake up, it's 55 degrees instead of 65. That bike that started perfectly yesterday now floods on the second kick. Congratulations, you're tuning again. Moved from sea level to Denver? Different jetting. Summer to winter? Different jetting. Bad gas from that sketchy station? You guessed it. If you don't know what a pilot jet does, you're about to learn. Same with needle position, float height, and why 4 carburetors need to be synchronized like a barbershop quartet, or they'll make your bike run like it has 3 cylinders and a grudge. Here's the truth. Carburetors on classic motorcycles aren't a set-it-and-forget-it component. They're a recurring conversation with physics that requires tools, patience, and the ability to admit when you're wrong. Some people love this, the ritual, the diagnosis, the satisfaction when everything syncs perfectly and the engine pulls clean from idle to redline. Other people just wanted a ride to work. Both reactions are valid. Only one keeps you sane long term. Section 4 explains why electrical systems make carburetor problems look simple and why Lucas built a reputation that still haunts British bikes 60 years later. Number 4. Electrical systems from another century. Old wiring, weak regulators, mystery grounds. Lucas jokes exist for a reason. Multimeter becomes your new best friend. Classic motorcycle electrical problems, the invisible failure point that turns reliable runners into garage ornaments and teaches riders to fear the words intermittent issue. Modern bikes have wiring harnesses designed by engineers with computers and standards. Classic bikes have wiring installed by a guy named Colin in 1973 who was probably hungover. The difference matters. Old wiring, weak voltage regulators, mystery grounds that may or may not exist depending on rust, vibration, and luck. Connectors that corrode if you look at them wrong. Fuses that blow for reasons the manual doesn't cover because the manual assumed you'd figure it out. Lucas Electric built components for British bikes during the glory years. They also built a reputation so legendary that Lucas Prince of Darkness became the unofficial slogan. The jokes write themselves, the problems don't. Here's the reality. Troubleshooting classic motorcycle electrical systems requires a multimeter, a wiring diagram, and the emotional stability to trace 12 volts through 40-year-old spaghetti while the bike mocks you from the garage. It's not always Lucas. Japanese bikes leak voltage too. Italian bikes have their own special electrical chaos. No country escaped the 1970s with its wiring dignity intact. Some problems are obvious. Dead battery, blown fuse, bad connection you can see and fix. Others are intermittent. Works Tuesday, doesn't work Thursday, works again Sunday. You'll question your sanity before you find the ground wire that only fails when it's humid. Number 5. Parts availability is a gamble. Some models are easy. Others, you're hunting forums at 2 a.m. or paying collector prices for used components. Classic motorcycle parts sourcing, the supply chain reality that separates popular models from orphaned projects and determines whether your bike rides or rusts. Some classics have parts everywhere. Honda CB750, Triumph Bonneville, Harley Sportster. Break something, order it, install by the weekend. Other bikes, you're hunting. Forum deep dives at 2 a.m. eBay alerts set for obscure parts numbers. International PayPal transactions to a guy in Australia who has the last known stash of shift fork springs for your exact model year. Patience becomes mandatory. Credit cards become nervous. Here's the split. Popular classic motorcycles have a robust aftermarket support and active owner communities. Rare or obscure models turn parts replacement into archaeological expeditions with expensive shipping. That investment-grade rare Italian bike? Beautiful. Collectible. Impossible to repair without selling a kidney or fabricating parts yourself. That mass-produced Japanese standard nobody considers cool? Boring, common. Parts shipped next day from 3 different suppliers who compete on price. Guess which one you'll actually ride? Reproduction parts exist for some models. They're hit or miss. Chinese gasket kits that leak immediately. Indian-made electrical components with creative interpretations of direct replacement. Sometimes they work. Sometimes they teach expensive lessons about why OEM parts cost more. NOS, new old stock, is the dream. Original parts, never installed, still in the box from 1974. They're also rare, expensive, and usually claimed by collectors who outbid you without blinking. Number 6. Fully restored doesn't mean reliable. Fresh paint hides sins. Shiny bolts don't fix worn crank bearings. Cosmetic restoration and mechanical restoration are not the same thing. Classic motorcycle restoration quality. The difference between cosmetic makeovers and mechanical rebuilds that sellers rarely clarify until after the sale. Fully restored sounds definitive. It's not. Fresh paint, new seat, polished chrome, replated fasteners, new cables and grips, tank badges that gleam under showroom lights. The bike photographs like it rolled off the factory floor yesterday. Then you ride it. Second gear grinds, oil pressure feels weak, the clutch slips under load, the charging system can't keep up with the headlight. What happened? Cosmetic restoration and mechanical restoration are not the same thing. One makes the bike look perfect. The other makes it work perfectly. Sellers love talking about the first. Buyers assume they're getting both. Here's the reality. A cosmetically restored classic motorcycle can hide worn bearings, weak compression, tired transmission synchros, and failing internals behind a fresh coat of paint and good lighting. Fresh paint doesn't fix worn crank bearings. Shiny bolts don't rebuild a gearbox. New tires don't address frame cracks that you can't see without pulling plastics. The expensive work, engine teardown, transmission rebuild, bearing replacement, valve work, is invisible. It's also where reliability lives or dies. Some restorations are done right, everything, top to bottom, mechanical and cosmetic. Receipts for days. Those bikes cost accordingly. Others are flips. Make it pretty, move it fast. Let the next owner discover what needs minor sorting actually means. Know which one you're buying before you sign. Number 7. They vibrate. A lot. Loctite isn't optional. Mirrors blur, hands tingle, bolts back themselves out like they're allergic to torque specs. Classic motorcycle vibration issues, the mechanical characteristic that defines the riding experience and tests your commitment to authenticity every single mile. Modern bikes are smooth, balanced. Rubber-mounted engines isolate you from the chaos happening inside the cases. Classics are not smooth. They vibrate constantly. Mirrors blur into uselessness above 4,000 RPM. Your hands tingle. The bolts back themselves out like they're allergic to torque specs. That rattle you hear? Could be the exhaust bracket, could be the license plate, could be the fastener you tightened yesterday deciding today's the day it walks. Loctite isn't optional. It's survival. Blue on anything that moves, red on anything critical. Check fasteners weekly or accept that parts will disappear mid-ride and you'll find them never. Single-cylinder thumpers are the worst. Parallel twins aren't far behind. Even inline fours from the 1970s vibrate more than anything built after fuel injection became standard. Here's the truth. Classic motorcycle vibration isn't a defect. It's period-correct engineering from an era when smooth meant the engine didn't grenade itself before 20,000 miles. Some riders love it. The mechanical feedback, the visceral reminder that combustion is controlled chaos. The feeling that you're riding a machine, not appliance. Other riders discover after 3 hours that their hands are numb, their fillings hurt, and they're Googling bar end weights and foam grips in a desperate search for relief. Both responses are valid. Only one leads to long rides without regret. Number 8. Comfort is not the priority. Thin seats, forward weight bias, wind blast at 70 miles an hour. Weekend rides feel heroic. Long highway trips feel educational. Classic motorcycle ergonomics and comfort, the riding position reality that turns romantic weekend trips into endurance tests modern bikes solved decades ago. Thin seats, minimal padding, foam that compressed fully in 1982 and never recovered. Forward weight bias that puts pressure on your wrists after 20 miles. Foot pegs positioned for someone 3 inches shorter than you. Bars that looked cool in the showroom, but force your shoulders into a permanent question mark. Wind blast at 70 miles an hour. No fairing, no windscreen worth mentioning. Your chest becomes a sail, your neck muscles earn their keep. Here's the reality. Classic motorcycles were designed in an era when all-day comfort meant you survived the ride without major injury, not that you arrived feeling refreshed. Weekend rides feel heroic. 40 miles of back roads, coffee stop, home by lunch. Perfect. Long highway trips feel educational. 3 hours in and you're shifting position every 5 minutes trying to find blood flow. Your lower back is negotiating terms, your throttle hand cramps, you're counting mile markers like a prisoner counts days. Modern bikes have adjustable seats, highway pegs, cruise control, and ergonomics refined over decades of customer feedback and wind tunnel testing. Classics have what they came with. Take it or leave it. Some people modify. Gel seats, bar risers, rear sets. Others keep it stock and embrace the suffering as authentic. Both camps arrive at the same gas station. Only one can still walk normally afterwards. Number 9. Modern retro bikes. The smarter alternative? Triumph Bonneville, Royal Enfield, Kawasaki Z900 RS. Classic looks, fuel injection, warranties, parts that ship the next day. They start every time, they don't leak. They're objectively smarter choices, but here's the thing. Too easy. No carburetor ritual, no Lucas electrical roulette, no forum deep dives at midnight hunting a replacement points cover. The convenience is the compromise. Real classics don't let you forget you're riding a machine, and that's exactly why people chose the hard way. Modern retro motorcycles versus classic bikes, the convenient compromise that looks vintage but eliminates every problem this video's covered so far. Triumph Bonneville, Royal Enfield INT 650, Kawasaki Z900 RS, Yamaha XSR Series, Honda CB750R. Classic looks, fuel injection, warranties, parts that ship the next day from actual dealers with phone numbers and business hours. They start every time. First press, no choke dance, no kickstart lottery, no flooded carbs or prayer required. They don't leak. They don't vibrate your hands numb. They stop when you brake. They handle like modern bikes because they are modern bikes wearing vintage costumes. Here's the problem. They're too easy. No carburetor ritual at dawn, no Lucas electrical roulette, no forum deep dives at midnight hunting a replacement points cover, no Loctite checks, no multimeter communion with mystery grounds. The convenience is the compromise. Modern retro motorcycles solve classic bike problems so completely they eliminate the experience people actually want. The mechanical conversation, the earned satisfaction, the proof you can keep something alive that the world moved past. Real classics don't let you forget you're riding a machine. That's not nostalgia. That's the point. Number 10. When it's good, it's unmatched. The sound, the mechanical feel, the smell of warm metal. No ride modes, no screens, just engine, throttle, and you. That's the part that hooks you and keeps you coming back. Classic motorcycle riding experience, the intangible quality that makes every frustration, expense, and inconvenience worth it for riders who understand what modern bikes traded away. The sound, raw, mechanical, no electronic filtering, just intake, combustion, exhaust. You hear everything. The feel, direct, unassisted, cable-operated throttle with actual tension, clutch with real weight, Feedback through every input because there's nothing between you and the machine except physics. The smell, warm metal, oil vapor, gasoline that hasn't been reformulated into committee-approved compliance fuel. It smells like 1974 and makes no apology. No ride modes, no traction control, no screens telling you what gear you're in or when to shift. Just engine, throttle, and you. Here's the truth. Classic motorcycles deliver a riding purity that modern bikes can't replicate, because that purity requires inconvenience, and manufacturers engineer inconvenience out of everything. When carbs sync perfectly, when the electrical system behaves, when the engine pulls clean from idle to redline and every shift clicks home like it was machined yesterday. Those moments justify everything. The maintenance, the frustration, the parts hunting, the weekend you spent bleeding brake lines. That's the part that hooks you. That's what keeps you coming back. Classic motorcycles aren't for everyone, and that's exactly why people buy them. You've seen the reality, the carbs, the electrics, the vibration, the convenience modern bikes offer that classics refuse. It's not rational, it's not efficient, it's not the smart choice. But when that kickstand catches and the engine settles into its rhythm, when you're riding something that demands skill instead of managing it for you, logic doesn't matter. If this saved you from a bad decision or confirmed the right one, subscribe. More real motorcycle advice without the Instagram filter.